What's up, everyone? So here we go. TSI Day 6 notes. Number 1. Follow method with 2 letters. So remember the follow method from our other notes. Now we're going to do it with 2 letters here. So number 1. Same thing, get the first one times the first one. Again, on number 1 is the only time I'm going to write out all the steps just in case you forgot. So negative 8x times negative 2x. And then it's negative 8x times 5y. Then it's 5y times a negative 2x. And then 5y times 5y. Now let's fix everything here. Negative 8 times a negative 2, that's positive 16. X times x, so that's x squared. And negative 8 times 5, that's negative 40. X times y, well, that's xy. 5 times a negative 2, that's negative 10. And then y times x is yx, but put in alphabetical order, remember? So it's xy. And then lastly, 5 times 5 is a positive 25. And y times y is y squared. Combine your like terms. There are no more x squareds, but we have an xy here and an xy here. So combine your like terms, fix the middle. Bring down the 16 x squared. Negative 40 minus 10, well, that's negative 50 xy. And then plus 25y squared. There you go. Follow method. Using 2 letters now, 2 variables. Number 2. 4x times 2x, well, that will give me an 8x squared. 4x times a negative 6, well, 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. X times y is xy. Negative 6 times 2, that would be negative 12. Y times x is xy, because we write it in alphabetical order. And then negative 6 times a negative 6, that's positive 36. And then y times y is y squared. Fix the middle, because they're both xy's. We can combine them. 8x squared. And negative 24 minus 12, that means we add them, keep the negative. So negative 36xy plus 36y squared. Next section here is solving multi-step equations. Now we're really going to solve like actual big boy multi-step equations here. Negative 3 minus parentheses negative 5x minus 3 is equal to negative 15 plus 2x. So first off, we have x's on both sides. I have an x right there and I have an x over here. So we're going to have to fix that later. We also have parentheses, which means we need to multiply. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to do the parentheses first so I can do order of operations, right? Now, what number is right here? There's a negative 1. Okay, that's the only number that's going to go inside here. Not the negative 3. Bring down the negative 3. Negative 3. Now do negative 1 times negative 5. Well, negative 1 times negative 5 is a positive 5. And then bring the x. Negative 1 times negative 3, well, that's positive 3, equals negative 15 plus 2x. Now we notice we have a negative 3 and a positive 3. These are numbers with numbers. There's numbers together already here. Negative 3 plus 3. If you add negative 3 plus 3, negative 3 plus 3, that goes to 0. Now, because negative 3 plus 3 is 0. So, I mean, this is just going to be 5x is equal to negative 15 plus 2x. Now I have x's on two sides. Now I have an x over here. I have an x over here. I want to keep the x's together, right? So combine your x's. X's go with x's. I have an x and a number here, so move the x to the left. So it'll be minus 2x. That goes away. 5x minus 2x, so that's 3x. And then bring down the negative 15. How to get rid of this 3? You don't subtract it. It's being multiplied, so divide by 3. And negative 15 divided by 3, well, that'll give us that x is equal to a negative 5. Number 4. (12 plus 4x is equal to 5 minus 3 parentheses 5 plus 6x. Remember that the number outside the parentheses is what we should do first. We should worry about this number here. Now I did highlight the negative sign because it's very important, because that's a negative 3. So don't forget that minus sign. If it's a positive, no big deal, right? But right now it's a negative. So it's negative 3 times that, and then negative 3 times that one. So I'm going to bring this down. This is still 12 plus 4x is equal to, what do you do with this 5? You bring it down. Nothing's happening to it. Leave it alone. Now, negative 3 times 5, negative 15. Negative 3 times 6, negative 18 with an x. Now combine our like terms. Number, letter, equal sign. So can't do anything. Other side. Number, letter. Oh, you can't do anything. So the two numbers here, combine them. 5 minus 15, that'll give us negative 10. So bring everything else down. Equals negative 10 minus 18x. So x is on both sides, right? Combine the x any way you please. I'm going to move the smaller x here. I have a 4x and a negative 18, so I'm going to put plus 18x. Plus 18x. Plus 18x. So this goes where there's no more x's here. They went to 0. And then in the same step, I'm going to move this 12 because I don't feel like writing more steps. Subtract the 12 and move it over here. Now, why did I do that? Now I have letters with letters right here. Right here. I have letters with letters, and over here I have numbers with numbers. That's exactly what you want. Right? Everything is different. Perfect. On the same side as it should be. 4 plus 18. What's that? 22? Is equal to negative 10 minus 12. That's negative 22. Divide by this 22. That gives you 1. So negative 22 divided by 22, and you're going to get that x is equal to negative 1. Now the next thing is solving multi-step inequalities. Remember that this is basically the same as solving equations, except that when you divide or multiply by a negative, you flip the sign. Parentheses first. Negative 6 times negative n, well, that's negative 6n. 6 times a positive 3, that's positive 18. Bring down that sign. 6 minus 8n. I have letters on both sides. I want to have the letters together. I'm going to move the smaller of the n's, which is a negative 8. So I'm going to put plus 8n plus 8n. So these go away. They go to 0. Now, since I have the letters over here, I have letters. That means on this side, I want numbers. So then I'm going to move this number, the positive 18, I'm going to subtract 18 and bring it over here. And this goes to 0. So now I have letters on letters and numbers, which is exactly what I want. So then negative 6 plus 8, that gives me 2n. Bring down that symbol. And then 6 minus 18 is negative 12. Divide by your 2. And n is less than or equal to a negative 6. Do we have to divide the sign? No, because we divided by a positive number, so we're good. No big deal there. Number 6. Negative 4 onto x minus 8 is less than 40 plus 4x. Parentheses first. Negative 4 times x, well that's negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 8, positive 32. It's less than 40 plus 4x. Again, x is on both sides. So put x's with letters, numbers with numbers. I'm going to move the smaller one. This is the smaller x. So plus 4x. Cancel that. So right now I have letters on this side, which means that on this side I want numbers. We want them on different sides, right? So then I'm going to move this 40 out of here. So by subtracting the 40. So no more numbers here. So I have letters with letters, and then my numbers will go with numbers. So now I'm able to solve this. 32 minus 40, that's negative 8. Less than 4 plus 4 gives me 8x. Divide by 8. And you get x and a negative 1. Now, remember that if the x is on the right side, no big deal. But if the x is on the left side, make sure you keep it the same way. It's pointing to the number, so make sure that it points to the number, right? So either way, either of these are the correct answer. All right, exponents. A power to a power. This is new. So when you have a power to a power, what do you mean a power to a power? So this is number 7. We have negative 3b to the 4th power. I'm going to rewrite it to show you that it's a power to a power. We have negative 3 to the 1 power and b to the 1 power. All that is being raised to the 4th power. So we have a power to a power, a power to a power. When you have a power to a power, you multiply. Make a note somewhere. When you have a power to a power, you multiply. Write that down somewhere. What do you multiply? You multiply the exponents. So this is the way it looks. It's negative 3. And the 1 that's here, that's times 4 now. The b that has a 1, that's all times 4. So you put this number times that number, and that number times that number. Okay? Now, this is where it's going to get a little weird right here. So then this right here is negative 3 to the 4th power. And this would be b to the 1 times 4, 4th power. This is the kind of weird one. How do we fix that? What does it mean? It means this. Negative 3 times a negative 3 times a negative 3 times a negative 3. Because it's negative 3 to the 4th power. So there's 4 of them. Negative 3 times negative 3, that's positive 9. Bring down this negative 3. When you multiply that, you're going to get a negative 27. Then bring down this negative 3. Multiply it again. You're going to get, I think, what, positive 81? Because the negative times negative is positive. So we have 27 times 3, that's 21, 6, 7, yeah, 81. So then the answer to all this is, hello, 81b to the 4th power. Right? Let's try another one. A little more complex, of course. Number 8. So I have a negative 4 to 1 power, m to the negative 1 power, and the n to the 4th power. All of that to the 3rd power. And what do you do when you have a power to a power? You multiply. So it's going to be 1 times the 3 that's on the outside. This negative 1 times 3, and this 4 times 3. So negative 4 1 times 3, that's 3. M to the negative 1 times 3, that is negative 3. And then 4 times 3 here for the n will give us 12. A lot of things to fix here. So but first we're going to start with this. What does it mean? It means that we have negative 4 times a negative 4 times a negative 4. Because there's 3 of them, right? Because that's what third power means. Negative 4 times negative 4, that's positive 16. 16 times a negative 4, that'll be a negative 64, right? 16 and 4, that's 4, the 2, yeah, 64, I think. So this is negative 64. Now, let me erase this real quick. Can we have a negative power? No. So what do? Remember, we get rid of it, you kick it to the bottom. To what bottom? Remember, this is over 1 right now. So now I'm going to fix this. I'm going to rewrite this as this. So we have negative 64. On the bottom of my fraction, I'm going to put the m to make it positive 3. And the n, there's nothing wrong with it, leave it on top. And that is the answer. Now, multi-step exponents part 1. I'll make it a little more difficult than this, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So, number 9. A lot of stuff going on here. Negatives and everything, screwing everything up, but we'll fix that in a little bit. First, the top part. Just the top. Don't worry about the bottom. For now. We're multiplying. And when you multiply, what do you do to the powers? You add them. Okay, so let me multiply the top numbers. Negative 2 times negative 2. I guess Negative 2n to the 1 times negative 2n to the 4. You multiply these numbers. Negative 2 times negative 2, that will give us a 4, right? And then the 1 and the 4, you're going to add them, right? So it's n to the 4th. So this should just be written 4n to the 4th power divided by a negative 3n to the negative 1. Now, we have a 4 and we have a negative 3. Can we reduce those numbers? No, you cannot divide 4 and negative 3. So then your answer will be 4 with a negative 3, right? You can put the negative on top if you want. Now the ends. What do you do with this 4 and this negative 1? When you divide, what do you do with those numbers? You subtract. The top number is 4 minus the bottom number. What's the bottom number? A negative 1. So it's 4 minus, because that's what you have to do. You have to subtract the bottom number. The bottom number is negative. So 4 minus a minus 1. The 2 minuses turn into a plus sign. So 4 plus 1 is 5. So we have n to the 5th power. And that is your answer. Number 10. Again, I'm going to fix this bottom here because it's kind of weird looking. Negative 3n to the negative 1 times negative 2n to the 3rd power. Multiply the bases. Multiply these. 3 times a negative 2. That'll give us a positive 6. Negative times negative is positive 6. What do you do with these? You add. Negative 1 plus 3 gives me a positive 2. So then this should just say 3n on top. And the bottom we fixed it to be 6n squared. Now, can you divide 3 and 6? No, but you can reduce it. You can reduce 3 and 6 and you will get 1 over 2. Now there's a 1 right here and there's a 2 there. What do you do with this 1 and this 2? Subtract. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So we have a 1 and with a negative 1. Is that okay? No. We cannot have a negative exponent. So what do you do to this negative exponent? Kick it to the bottom. So the 1 stays on top. The 2 stays there, and now the n with the 1 goes there. Or we don't have to write the 1, but that's pretty much what it looks like. Number 11, adding and subtracting fractions again, because the next lesson has what we've been doing all this for adding and subtracting fractions and rational functions. But anyways, because the reason I'm doing this is because sometimes I saw on your test some of you didn't do very well on this part. Anyways, how do you add and subtract fractions? You have to have a common denominator. That's the bottom part of a fraction. This is 4, this is 6. Can you turn 4 into a 6? No. Can you turn 6 into a 4? No. So what number do they both go into? Now the easiest thing to do is to multiply them, and you would get 24. Which you can make them both be 24. But you're going to do extra work because you should understand that 4 and 6 also both go into 12, which is a smaller number, so you don't have to reduce later. So I would have done 12, but I'll do 24 just to show how it does work. You don't have to reduce, but 12 would have been better. How does 4 become 24? Times 6. If you do times 6 to the bottom, do times 6 to the top. Here's 6 on the bottom. How does 6 become 4? Times 4. Times 4 to the top. Alright, where was I? Oh yeah. So we're trying to make them both be 24 on the bottom. So we multiply the 6's here on the left fraction and the 4's on the right fraction. So we can make them be 24, right? So 6 times negative 3, that's negative 18. 6 times 4 is 24, that's already there. Oh, forgot the plus sign, 0. 1 times 4, that's 4. And 6 times 4 is 24, that's already there. Now we do this. What's negative 18 plus 4? Remember that you only add the top numbers now. So negative 18 plus 4, that is negative 14 divided by 24. Now you reduce. You can divide both of these by 2. So negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. And 24 divided by 2 is 12. And you're done because you can't reduce 7 and 12. The last fraction here. 1 over 7 plus 4 over 3. Can you make 7 become 3? No. Can you make 3 become 7? No. So again, multiply them. 7 times 3 is 21. So now they're going to both be 21. How do you make 7 become 21? Well, times 3. If you do times 3 to the bottom, you do times 3 to the top. How do you make 3 become 21? Times 7. Times 7 to the bottom, times 7 to the top. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 7 is 21, it's already there. 4 times 7 is 28. 3 times 7 is 21, it's already there. So 3 plus 28 is 8, 9, 10, 11. 31 over 21. Can you reduce 31 to 21? No, so you are done. And that's about it there. Just be careful with our exponents, right? Just take them piece by piece here. And that's it for the notes. If you have any questions, let me know in class. All right, laters.